NASCAR is stunned by yet another lawsuit. This time, Jimmy Johnson's NASCAR team is suing Rick Ware Racing, claiming the latter had cold feet after agreeing to sell the charter. Will this turn out to be another prolonged, years-long process, like the one between NASCAR and 2311? And what does this mean for NASCAR and the Legacy Motor Club? Will Jimmy Johnson make a surprise comeback to the charter they are litigating for? With the highly heated legal battle between 2311 Racing Front Row Motorsports and NASCAR over the 2025 charter agreement still underway, new charter-related litigation has emerged. However, this is vastly different from the 2311 FRM versus NASCAR case, in which the sanctioning body was accused of breaking antitrust laws. Legacy Motor Club, LMC, filed a lawsuit in Mecklenburg County Clerk of Superior Courts on April 1st, saying that Rick Ware Racing, RWR, is attempting to improperly withdraw from a contract to sell one of its charters to the Jimmy Johnson-led team. The two organizations struck an agreement in early March, with LMC claiming that RWR signed the contract and initialed each page. Several sections of the 46-page study have been redacted, but the issue is clear from what has been made public. LMC claims to have a legally binding agreement with RWR for the sale of this charter, but the latter is attempting to back out of the deal. The language used throughout the document is tense, with one sentence reading, "At the exact same time that Legacy has charted a path forward, RWR has flagged and flailed in the rear. RWR's only full-time entry, piloted by Cody Ware, Rick's son, is now last in the championship standings. RWR owns a second charter, which they leased to RFK Racing ahead of the 2025 season. Legacy Motor presently owns 2 chartered cars in the Cup Series, but this application indicates that they plan to increase to 3 full-time entrants by 2026. The NASCAR Cup Series has just 36 charters available, and each is extremely valuable, worth tens of millions of dollars when traded between teams. In the filing, LMC described RWR as strapped for cash and unable to compete at a Cup Series level by its own admission, before adding, RWR needed to sell one of its charters. So what happened? On January 6 this year, LMC CEO Cal Wells III met with Rick Ware and his broker. As previously reported, the purchase was finalized on March 3rd, when the two companies signed a formal charter purchase agreement. According to the complaint, despite having a binding agreement in place, RWR wants to back out. It has informed Legacy that it will not, under any circumstances, close the acquisition. Legacy attempted to persuade RWR to think rationally, but was unsuccessful. Legacy's patience has run out. It is now bringing this lawsuit to vindicate its rights and hold RWR to its agreement. In its allegations against RWR, Legacy claims Rick Ware's company has recently faced mounting financial pressures, which has prompted Mr. Ware to sell one of RWR's charters. Meanwhile, LMC is seeking a temporary restraining order and a preliminary injunction against Rick Ware Racing in order to establish their legal entitlement to the contested charter. The complaint was filed in a Charlotte, North Carolina court on Tuesday. It concerns Legacy Motor Club's ability to enter an additional vehicle in the 2026 NASCAR Cup Series. Legacy already has 2 charter agreements that ensure Cup Series inclusion in 2026, but it had hoped to add a third with Rick Ware Racing, RWR. In the lawsuit, Legacy claimed RWR as strapped for funds and unable to compete at the Cup Series level. According to Courthouse News Service, the two sides reached an agreement on March 3, 2025 to sell the charter to Legacy. Legacy claims RWR is now attempting to cancel the agreement. Despite having a binding deal in place, RWR, Rick Ware Racing, wants to back out, Legacy stated in the case. It has informed Legacy that it would not, under any situation, close the parties' transaction. Legacy attempted to persuade RWR to think rationally, but was unsuccessful. Legacy's patience has run out. It is now bringing this lawsuit to vindicate its rights and hold RWR to its agreement. Much of Legacy's case against Rick Ware Racing is based on the fact that the latter is struggling financially, whilst Legacy is booming. Legacy has filed a temporary restraining order and a preliminary injunction against Rick Ware Racing, accusing them of cold feet. NASCAR's charters were investigated last year, and the corporation was sued on anti-monopolistic grounds. The organization now has 36 charters in place. The charters' values have risen dramatically, putting additional pressure on team decision-making. The lack of charters has been one of the motivating factors. So, will RWR complete the transaction, or will they drag this out in an attempt to obtain more money from LMC? What are your thoughts? So, what do all of these cases imply for NASCAR? That litigation isn't the only thing going on right now. 23XI is currently involved in an ongoing case with NASCAR. According to recent rumors, NASCAR is not going back on its decision not to give a charter agreement to 23XI Racing and Front Row Motorsport. A fan asked Fox Sports NASCAR analyst Bob Pockrass whether NASCAR would require 23XI and Front Row to sign a new charter agreement if the lawsuit was dropped. NASCAR says charter agreement is off the table for 23XI and Front Row, posted Pockrass on X, previously Twitter. So only ways, unless NASCAR changes its mind and reoffers their two charters, for them to be charter teams would be for teams to win injunction or teams sign charter agreements for transferred charters. NASCAR filed a petition to dismiss as well as a general answer to the lawsuit a few weeks ago. According to Pockrass, the racing organizations argue that they just didn't get what they wanted in the 2025 charter agreement, and that is not an antitrust issue. And even if it is, the majority of the conduct that the teams allege violates antitrust law occurred beyond the statute of limitations of 4 years. Plaintiffs acknowledge that the charters are worth millions of dollars, and that NASCAR enhanced team revenue opportunities. If NASCAR truly had market power, it would reduce its demand for plaintiffs' services and the amount by which it compensates them, NASCAR contends. The teams have requested an injunction requiring NASCAR to allow 23XI and Front Row to sign the charter agreements while the antitrust case is ongoing. Pockrass also indicated that a hearing date for the judge to consider the injunction request or the motion to dismiss had not been set. All Cup Series teams, save 23XI and Front Row, signed the 2025 charter agreement in September. 23XI and Front Row filed the complaint because they believe the new agreement is unfair in terms of revenue distribution to the teams combined with the restrictions. I did it for smaller teams too. It's not only me. On October 6th, Michael Jordan, NBA icon and co-owner of 23XI, alongside NASCAR driver Denny Hamlin, told Fox Sports that he believes everyone should have the opportunity to succeed in any business. My voice indicates that it hasn't been happening. Hopefully, we, on both sides, can come to our senses and figure out something that works for everyone. As NASCAR finds itself embroiled in yet another legal battle, the consequences extend far beyond the courtroom. The Legacy Motor Club versus Rick Ware. Racing argument is more than just a legal issue. It represents the sport's rising tensions. At the heart of it all is the scarcity of charters, which have become high-stakes negotiating pieces in a fast-changing economic market. With valuations soaring and competition heating up, every purchase is becoming a power play, and every pause a potential lawsuit. It remains to be seen whether LMC's action will result in Jimmie Johnson's surprising return with a third full-time entry, or if it will result in drawn-out litigation similar to the 23XI NASCAR antitrust dispute. What's evident is that the charter system is under siege. With claims of anti-competitive behavior and teams backing out of deals, NASCAR is being forced to tackle the increasing flaws in its existing system. These legal disputes are no longer isolated occurrences. They are influencing the future of club ownership, competitiveness, and the basic commercial model that supports the sport. Will NASCAR adapt and evolve or continue to fight legal flames as they arise? For the time being, the courthouse serves as a battleground just like the racetrack. While spectators tune in to hear the engines roar, behind the scenes, the rumbling of litigation grows louder. What are your thoughts? Will everything get better? Will NASCAR win its lawsuit against 23XI? And will LMC receive their third charter? Let me know your opinions in the comments section below.